Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Albion Obsessed podcast. Today, we come to you on the back of a 3-0 defeat against Manchester City. We've got a lot to chat about today. We're going to chat about the game. We're going to be chatting about away kits, the best 11, and of course, we're going to be having a look ahead to the Southampton game. But as ever, before we dive in, let's see who we've got on the pod today. We are welcome back Joe. Joe, how are you, mate?
Hello, mate. Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, it's good to come on after a game. I haven't been on since I think before Norwich after a game. So yeah, it'd be good to chat about the Albion. Obviously, I've done the episode with Ben midweek last week. If you haven't checked that out yet, really great interview. We'll pop it in our description or something. But yeah, good to be back.
And it is good to have you back, Joe, as the OG AO. It is always a pleasure to chat to you, mate. Aaron, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Thank you. Not too bad. Looking forward to this today. It should be quite good. Looking forward to it.
Sound as a pound. And we also welcome back Dan. Dan, mate, thank you for joining us today. How are you, buddy?
I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. It's all good after a nice game to watch, and it's nice to be back.
Always a pleasure to have you, Dan. Always a pleasure to have you on. So let's dive into our post-match analysis of the City game then. Well, where do we begin? I suppose let's begin at the beginning. First half. Now, boys, I thought that first half performance was really professional. I thought it was really excellent from us. Don't get me wrong. I think there were times when City were a bit wasteful, but generally speaking, I thought it was a very professional performance. Now, Joe, you watched the game, first game you've watched in a couple of weeks. What was your opinion of that first half as an overall 45 minutes of football?
Yeah, for the last couple of games, obviously Arsenal and Tottenham, I've been a bit busy. So for the Arsenal game, I was with my mate who I haven't seen for years, and he's actually an Arsenal fan. So we were checking the score throughout the day, and it was great to get obviously one up on him after not seeing him for ages. And then obviously the Spurs game, I was traveling up to the Warner Brothers tour in London, which was amazing. So yeah, I thought, best get back into watching us, and maybe I shouldn't, because whenever I watch us, we seem to lose. What was the other part of the question, Tom?
What would you call the half a successful half of football?
Yeah, I think I would. A lot of positives to take from that half, especially. One obviously being who we will speak about later on in the episode, Moises Caicedo. Thought he was probably the best player on the pitch. I would say defensively, because that's all we did that half, really, was defend. Well, for most of the game, I think we only had 2 shots for the full 90 minutes. But yeah, I'd call it successful, and we can hold our heads high, going in 0-0 at half time, and obviously what happens after it is we'll speak about. But yeah, as I say, we can be proud.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Joe. It was a tough 45 minutes, but we were very resolute in our defending. There was like no gaps for Man City to exploit. I thought we were very tight knit. Now, Aaron, the first half itself wasn't without a bit of drama. I think one generalisation of Brighton this year that I think we perhaps need to tighten up on for next season and for the remainder of this season is that we give the ball away too cheaply. Now, we'll talk about it later in the context of the goals, but in the first half, Brighton were guilty of giving the ball away. And in one particular moment of madness, Rob Sanchez lofts a blind pass over to the left, which I assume was meant for Cucurella, intercepted by Mahrez. And if it wasn't for Caicedo, we would have gone 1-0 down. I always come to you to talk about Rob Sanchez. So, in your mind, is that what do you think is going through Sanchez's head as he makes that blind pass?
All I can really assume is that he's looked up to his left before the ball's arrived to him, and he's seen Cucurella and just hasn't seen Mahrez. It is the only thing I can even remotely think of, because there's no reason to play that sort of blind pass if he hasn't seen where Kukurea is. It happens. You know, you look one way, you look back down, and when the ball's coming to you, obviously Morris is just like nipped in. But it is what it is. Those sort of mistakes do happen. But when you play teams like City or Liverpool, if you make those mistakes, they're going to be costly. They will punish you, and obviously we'll discuss about later on. If you lose the ball, world class teams will punish you, especially lose it cheaply, I should say.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. On that occasion, it didn't cost us a goal or anything. But as you say, Aaron, these teams, Man City, Liverpool, they're world class teams. Now, Dan, I asked you on the previous podcast how you would play against Man City, and I suppose it's very difficult because Man City are so dangerous on the counter, but they can also pass through you if you sit back with relative ease. So, how do you set up against a Man City side that are just have got world class players all over the pitch?
I suppose really you can't match a man by man. You sort of do as we did in that first half, sort of like keep it defensive and sort of try and catch on the counter. But it's so hard when they're so good off the ball as well as well as on the ball. It's so difficult to get anything from especially at home or at their home. You know, it's so hard. It's very hard. It's as the players found, it was difficult. So we like obviously that mistake was so lucky as well that we didn't concede from that. And yeah, it was very, very, very tough for them. Very tough.
Yeah, very tough indeed. But as we say, like it was a successful half in my book. We limited their chances, and I think we could have gone. We went into that halftime break with our heads held high, and it gave me hope. And we'll come on to that hope in a little while. But I will just say before we start chatting about the goals in the second half, my highlight of that half, apart from Caicedo's tackle on Mahrez, which was just amazing, really fantastic tackle, was the Lewis Dunk chest back to Sanchez at the Etihad. When we did that against Leeds, you sort of think, it's Leeds, decent enough team. But to do that against City was just a bit sort of, I thought that was showed a lot of confidence that I think is back into Lewis Dunk's game, which was great to see. So we go into the first half, come out of the first half, 0-0. Good scoreline, but it doesn't take long for City to start making that quality show. Joe, do you think that first goal was coming?
It always is against City. As Dan said, it's really tough to set up against a team that are easily in the top 3 in the world, for me anyway. And I'll answer your question that you asked Dan. How do you set up against them? You don't really. You just go and put 11 players on the pitch and hope that you might nick something and the game can swing your way and the momentum can stay with you, because you need that. Because City can literally take a game by the scruff of its neck, think, right, we really need to score now, and if they want to score, they will score. Obviously, I'm not saying they're footballers; they want to score all the time. But when the going gets tough, it's really difficult for teams to contain them. So it was coming, and it's just annoying how it came. Obviously, which you're going to touch on, but just sloppy, and you can't do that against City. Switching off for literally a split second, and then I can't remember who it was, De Bruyne maybe. Just picks a pass and then a few lucky deflections and Mahrez taps in. So yeah, frustrating, but I think if they didn't score that, they would have found another way to sneak one in.
Agreed. So my point I made earlier was I feel almost a bit harsh being disappointed, but I was disappointed with the final result. And I suppose in many ways that shows just how far we've come as a club. But we just made it too easy. in my opinion. It was just too easy, too many sloppy passes, lazy passes, underhit passes, and you can get away with doing that against Norwich, against Watford, but you can't do that against Man City. And for it to happen 3 times, for me, that's what is the real sort of like the kick in the balls, is the fact it happened 3 times. McAllister for the first goal, a bit of a sloppy pass, it gets picked up. A lot of luck, don't get me wrong, a lot of luck for there's a deflection in the build-up, and then there's a deflection on the shot. So I get that there's a lot of luck, but you can't make it easy against Man City. You can't. So that was the first goal. And then for the second goal, Aaron, your favourite player in the world, Pascal Gross, instead of passing the ball forward, which Mwepu gave him a bit of a rollicking for, Pascal Gross passes the ball backwards. Really lazy pass, in my opinion. Puts Cucurella under so much pressure, it goes for a corner. And then lightning strikes twice. Why, Aaron? Just why?
I don't think you can really directly blame Gross for that goal or Cucurella, to be honest.
No, I think it's more of
there's still why are they passing it backwards instead of going forward? Well, it's just what Gross does. It's just what Gross does. He pass it sideways or backwards, or he'll put a cross in from a corner and it will hit the first man. That's what he does. Bit disrespectful for Gross. He has actually done okay the last couple of games. Credit where credit is due. But there's opportunities to stop that goal from the corner. But it's just another deflected goal. I've lost count how many times I've seen that this year, where it's been like not even little deflections, like big deflections, and it's just wrong-footed Sanchez. So nothing he could do about it. Nothing he could do with really any of the goals, to be fair. Even the third one was really well hit. And he just hit it early and just took him by surprise. It was a fantastic goal. But again, any sort of deflection on that is going to fly past him. And you could say, well, why wasn't he closed down quick enough? It is one way of looking at it, but it'll ifs and buts. And like you say, if you give City an opportunity, to score, they're not going to miss many. They're world-class footballers. They're, like Joe said, they're probably top 3 teams in the world, if not the best team in the world, under the best manager in the world. I'm not really too disheartened by it, to be fair. I don't think from what all accounts City didn't even play that well yesterday. They just got 2 lucky goals and then, 3 really. Like I said, the pass and Mwepu not coming to the ball and just sort of watching the ball come to him for the third. And I can't remember who nicked it in front of him. I mean, Caicedo nicked it in front of him. But, they're all goals that could have been prevented. But in the Premier League, you make mistakes. It doesn't really matter who you're playing in the Premier League. You make mistakes, simple mistakes like that, you're going to get punished.
Yeah, maybe I'm being too harsh on Gross, but I suppose it's just the causality of it all. Obviously, the back pass leads to the corner leads to the goal.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And if I'm saying, you can't blame Gross for that, then, Jesus, I'm Gross's biggest critic. So.
Yeah, so maybe it's just Tom being overly harsh, but again, I see it as a mistake that leads to a goal eventually within the next minute or so. So I suppose it's just that frustration that we've just made it too easy for a team that you don't need to make it too easy for. After the second goal, I still had a bit of hope that maybe we could get in and nick something. Dan, any point in that second half after going behind, did you think that we may still be able to, against all the odds, get something out of the game?
You can always hope that we could. We could just you can see it sometimes whereas in some teams when they play against Man City, you just sort of see them just go straight up and maybe have a chance or 2 or anything, and then hope it goes in. But to then be in a position where to be goal down first and then obviously doing the second and third, it's sort of like it sort of gets to the point of damage limitation. You sort of think next game, because we've now lost this pretty much mentally. Probably thinking we lost this game, we might as well figure out the next, and just hope to keep the goal difference just near the same as we can get. So that's pretty much what we need to do, really.
Yeah, damage limitation. But we didn't limit the damage, did we, Joe? Because once again, a pass is cut out. Mwepu is caught ball watching, and maybe once again I'm being harsh and tired legs, tired mind, and all that. But again, pass is cut out, and City score a third. Do you think any of these 3 goals are preventable?
I think if maybe Moises Caicedo didn't run himself ragged in the first half, maybe he would have had a little bit something extra in the tank to nip in and prevent something. But they're all preventable. It's the split seconds decisions in football that change a game, and Man City were reading the game much better than we were. They were switched on, and Wepu thinking, I'm getting this pass, no problem. But Cancelo, or whoever it was, I think Aaron said it was Cancelo, had the intuitiveness to run in front of him and burst forward, and that is what these world-class teams do. Is they will get the ball, they will see space, and they will exploit it. Even if you switch off, as we've said countless number of times, for not like a millisecond, they will punish you. So yeah, I think all 3 were preventable. The silly deflection for Foden's one, Sanchez couldn't do anything about that at all. So yeah, it is frustrating that the way that we lost. But I don't think, as Aaron said, you can be too disheartened by losing by 3-0 by Man City. We're not the first team that's lost by this many goals to them, and we certainly won't be the last. So.
No, and the performance in general was far better than when we lost 3-0 to Burnley. But I suppose it was quite telling because Potter's post-match comments, where I'm just going to read the direct quote. He was disappointed with how we were on the ball. Here, you have to be perfect, and we weren't. And I think that just sums it up for me. We said it in our post-Spurs chat. We said about you have to be at 110% and then some more to get anything against City. And unfortunately, we weren't. However, there are some positives here, aren't there, Aaron? There are some positives that we can take away from this Man City game, surely. It's not all doom and gloom. I've been a very negative Nelly. So let's get some positivity.
I think that there is positives. I think the first half we held our own. There were a couple of silly mistakes, but like we said before, when you're coming up against teams like this, you have to be 110%. I hope they have an off day. And I thought first half, to be fair, even sort of the 90 minutes, there were some players that actually looked like real talent. Caicedo, again, I thought was outstanding yesterday. And it's been 3 fantastic performances on the bounce. I personally think he's got a bigger ceiling than Basuma. I think he can go a long way. And maybe because I think he seems to have everything. Like his defensive mindset is unreal. Like that tackle get on Mahrez in the first half was absolutely sensational. Like the fact he managed to get back there as well, and then make that I can't explain how hard that tackle is. Like it is phenomenal, and I think to say there's positives in the game. Obviously, we lost, so there can't be many. But he's definitely one of them. And I think Dunk played fantastic in that first half. Some of the blocks he was doing, it was like watching sort of the old Lewis Dunk under Houghton, just throwing himself in front of everything. It was class. Second half is what it is. They're always going to show their quality, but at the end of the day, you've got to take some positives from it. And I think Potter was right with his pre-match, post-match comments. We weren't good enough on the ball. If we're not good enough on the ball in places like this, then you're going to struggle. But we roll on to Sunday. I think Sunday will be the big game from the last 4, really. In my opinion, it's the one I would have looked at and gone, we need to get something. But it's not to that point now where we desperately need to win. I mean, the wins against Arsenal and Southampton, I think, have relaxed the mood a little bit, taking the tension away from around the club. But obviously, playing at the Amex has not been easy this year, and I think that will be just added pressure for the players, and we'll find out Sunday really what happens. But I think positives rolling into Sunday. You know, Caicedo's got to start again, and we just go from there. Obviously, no Basuma for Sunday either, so it's an even better chance for him to show he is a ready-made replacement for him if and when Basuma does go.
I'm glad you brought up Caicedo, Aaron, because that brings me on to my next point, really. So Dan, Aaron very much gave Caicedo there some really big praise. As good as Basuma can become better, and I don't know about you, mate, but I was quite disappointed to see him come off in the second half. Although I do think it was with an eye on Sunday. So my question to you, Dan, is just how good can Caicedo become if he keeps working at this level after 3 starts in the Premier League at the age of 20? How good can he become?
I think he's a major star, possibly in the making. The way he took on players at the last 2 games, especially on our last wins, were amazing. It's refreshing to see two players like Basuma and Caicedo both play together and basically do the same job pretty much so well. And Caicedo still doing it on his own as well when Basuma's out on suspension. Was so good to see. He's going to be a star. He's definitely going to be a star. If it's not just in the Premier League, maybe if he goes somewhere else and carries on doing what he needs to do there, he's going to go. I think Champions League definitely is definitely in his future. Maybe even to a point where he goes to one of the teams where he can honestly win it as well. I think he'll go very, very far.
I'm inclined to agree with you there, mate. I believe that when we were interested in signing him, Manchester United were also in the running, but I think it's something to do with a lot of South American players have strange contracts, so they're fundamentally owned by consortiums or a group of people. And I'm very glad that we had the patience to see that deal go through. With Caicedo coming into at the forefront, with Mwepu coming back from injury and showing some good form, it's given Graham Potter a bit of a headache, in my opinion, for what is our best starting 11. So before we jump into looking ahead to Southampton, I'd just like to come to you guys and just chat about what is our best 11 at the moment. Now, Joe, me and you, I think you have as well, Dan, we've put out 11s on Twitter just to sort of start that conversation amongst us. So, Joe, do you want to just talk us through who you'd put in your starting 11 and what formation you'd play?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to really quickly touch on Caicedo before I go into my 11. I just want to say his energy against Manchester City, of all people. I didn't watch the full Spurs game. I didn't watch the full Arsenal game, so I can't overly comment. But what I've seen from other fans that have watched those games, that he's been our top performer, and I think he won 2 player of the matches in consecutive games. And to come out against Manchester City, who have midfielders such as Gundogan, De Bruyne, Foden, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, and to be the standout player for that first half in that midfield, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I have to echo what Dan says. He is going to go to the very, very, very top. I'm not going to sound like Harry Redknapp here. He's going to the very, very top of football. Honestly, he is just, different gravy. And I think and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, and people might think I am, but I think, honestly, that was one of the best performances I've ever seen in a Brighton and Hove Albion football shirt. Yesterday, that first half against Man City, just unreal.
Was it better than Basuma against Chelsea, in your opinion?
Yeah, it was. I don't think Chelsea were in incredible vein of form at the time that we played them. Basuma does what Basuma does, and there is no doubt in that Basuma is one of the best at what he does. But that performance from Caicedo, to do that at the Etihad against Man City, a title-chasing Man City side, it's just unbelievable, and I'm so excited about his future. And I tweeted before when he played against, I think it was Arsenal, I said he's going to go for ridiculous money. Again, getting ahead of myself, that obviously I want to see him in a Brighton shirt for as long as possible. But when he does go, it's going to be ridiculous money, and that is very, very exciting for us as a club, and obviously probably very exciting for Tony Bloom as well. So he can get a few loans paid off, I'm sure. But talking about starting 11, then I tweeted out. It was actually stemmed from Andy Naylor's tweet. He asked the question, so shout out to him for giving us this idea. I went with Sanchez, and then a back three of Veltman, Dunk, and Webster, and then a midfield four of Lamptey, Caicedo, Bissouma, and Cucurella. And then I've got ahead of them, I've got Mwepu and McAllister, and heading that attack, I've got Leandro Trossard. Obviously, threw up a question from you, Tom, as to whether you would play a striker. And somebody else put a really good point as well and said, we don't really have a best starting 11. It's Graham Potter chooses the best 11 to face the team that we're coming up against next. But I wanted to go in with the view that we had to stick with 111 throughout the rest of the season. And honestly, I think with a string of games and consistency, Trossard could do the job up front.
Yeah, I think just coming back to that point about Potter picking the best 11 depending on the circumstances, 100% correct. We've seen us line up with a back three, a back five, a back four. We've seen formation changes within games. Potter normally gets his tactics spot on. It's very rare that we get absolutely taken to the cleaners. I mean, it does happen, of course, and things don't go right, things don't go to plan. But generally speaking, sometimes we do kind of sit there and scratch our heads when we see the lineups and go, well, who's playing where? It's like that meme of that gif of that lady with all the maths equations, and it can be like that sometimes seeing a Potter 11. But generally speaking, you're right, Joe. He picks the 11 for the game at hand. But it's nice to see, chat about the starting 11s now. So Joe's had his say, Aaron. Do you agree with Joe's picks? Would you put a certain German in there who's statistically the best chance creator at the club?
No. Next question.
Who is in your best 11?
So it'll be Sanchez in goal, obviously. Back five of Webster, Dunk, Veltman, and Cucurella. Midfield three of Caicedo, Mwepu, and Bissouma. And then it will be Trossard and probably Welbeck up front for me.
I presume that in your back five, you've also got Lamptey.
I said that. Yeah, Lamptey. I said Lamptey, Webster, Dunk, Veltman, Cucurella.
So what makes it? Sorry, mate. So what makes it? Just coming back to the front two, then. What makes it for you, Welbeck over Mope?
Going off current form, I think Welbeck's performances have actually been pretty okay. So it's not knocking Mope, but I just think he's lacking a little bit of confidence. It is the reasoning behind that. But other than that, if we were going before, it's end of last year, as in 2021, it would have been Mope. But since the turn of the year, his confidence has been a little bit shot, bless him. And I think Welbeck's done okay when he's come in. It's very harsh. I could have quite easily played Trossard up front and have McAllister in there. But then I just feel like we'll miss an actual striking threat. And sometimes Trossard doesn't turn up in games because he's not playing a top 6 team. So I expect that on Sunday, people. But other than that, I think that's probably the strongest team I'll go for at the moment.
I mean, to be fair, mate, I do agree with your point with Welbeck. I think we've got to remember that Welbeck has got a wealth of experience and he is absolute quality when he wants to be. So definitely a good shout with Welbeck there, mate. Thank you for that. And then Dan, how about you, mate? What's your best Albion 11? Everyone fit, everyone raring to go.
For me, it's Sanchez in goal. Veltman, Dunk, Webster. It's about 3. Then a midfield 4 of Lamptey, Basuma, Caicedo, Cucurella. And in front of them, McAllister with a front 2 of Trossard and Morpay.
Yep, that sounds decent, mate, and that's exactly the 11 I would go for as well. I said to you, Joe, in my replies, I think we've got so much quality and depth in the middle of the park now. I like Mwepu, don't get me wrong, but I think Mwepu showed yesterday, fantastic, very good in the first half, and then in the second half just sort of went a bit missing for me. But there's no denying his quality. There really
Does
isn't.
that maybe again show the quality of Caicedo? That as soon as he comes off from Wepu sort of goes missing a little bit. Obviously he played alongside Caicedo at Arsenal and Spurs and looked really, really good as well. Ben said something really interesting, that when we've got Basuma and Wepu and Caicedo playing on the same pitch, that they form into this one super midfielder. So maybe it loses one of the qualities in the game because they're having to think about something else. But yeah, maybe just throwing that out there.
No, to be fair, mate, you're bang on, because I think the same could be said against John Stones. I know we're talking about Man City now, but John Stones always looks better when he's got like a better defender next to him, because it means that John Stones can go off and do John Stones things, which means he can play the ball out from the back. And it's the same with, I suppose, Mwepu. If he's got Caicedo and Basuma doing the defensive work, he can then worry about pinging passes forward or making runs. So I suppose, yeah, it is about when you play with players, alongside players, that have got that quality, you become a better player as well. Or at least that's how I always presumed things to go. So yeah, my starting 11, exactly the same as you, Dan. Sanchez, Webster, Dunk, Veltman, then Lamptey and Cucurella at wing back, Basuma, Caicedo in the middle, and then McAllister, Trossard, and Mopé is like a front 3. Although I did like it when we played Welbeck, Trossard, and Mopé as a front 3. That Newcastle game was like, that's when you talk about Potter masterclass. For me, that was fantastic. They didn't know, Newcastle hadn't got a clue what was going on, and that was fantastic. So yeah, bit of a head scratcher for Potter then coming up to Southampton, especially if Trossard is back from his illness. But as you say, Aaron, Trossard does have a tendency to go missing in games where we're not playing against Big Six. But I'm sure with the form he's in at the moment, he'll be raring to get more goals. So there is one last thing we want to chat about before Southampton, and that is we say goodbye to the kit that Dan is currently wearing. Dan, you're wearing the lovely yellow and blue strip, which I believe is modelled on the 1982 British Caledonian away shirt, which I absolutely love. Now, I'm actually a really big fan of that yellow kit. I know that it's like unlucky and hoodoo and all that, but I actually really like it. Now, quick question, children. That sounds very teachery. I apologize for that. That was very patronizing. Just getting myself ready for next week when I'm back at school. Can you name the single game of football that we won whilst wearing it? Oh, Joe's got his hand up. Aaron's got his hand up. Dan, do you know what game it was? Shakes his head. Joe, I'll come to you first.
Hold on. I think I've got it wrong. I don't think we won it. I think we drew it. Go to Aaron.
Aaron.
Well, to be fair, we won the game but drew the 90 minutes. It was West Brom in the FA Cup. And you two
I was
were
at
there.
the bloody game. I was at the bloody game.
We were there, Joe. We saw history being made.
Yeah.
So yeah, we won a single game in that shirt, and it wasn't a league game. Yeah. So there you go. I know football fans are quite superstitious, so I understand why a lot of fans were like, "Oh God, we can't wear the yellow ever again." But as I say, aesthetically, I liked it because I liked that old British Caledonian shirt. Which leads me on to a bit of a segue, completely not about Man City or again about Southampton. It's about this away shirts. Now, I currently have my 3 favourite away shirts. We've got the classic green and black Brighton Hove Jobs, worn in our first 2 seasons at the Amex. beautiful. And then the infamous Chew It wrapper kit, which I know divides a lot of opinion, but I bloody love it. And of course, our lovely Hyper Turk, which we are repping currently as our AO logo, which is beautiful. So, thinking next season's away kits. First of all, we're going to talk about kit supplier, because I believe Nike is up in the summer. So, Joe, what kit supplier would you like to see take over if the Nike contract ends?
I would like to see one of two. I would like the Nike contract to end because whilst there's been a few absolute bangers from Nike, like the one you're wearing, Tom. I love this season's home shirt as well. For example, we had one in the championship, the Volt Green one. I always remember Tom Mohamed scoring a penalty against Fulham in that shirt. So as I say, we've had a few bangers, but what I see is a lot of templates, and I really, really don't like templates. But I think that's a thing for most kit suppliers anyway. But what a lot of other kit suppliers do is they change very specific things, like to make it a Brighton kit and not a Nike kit with a Brighton badge on. I would like to see Adidas. I think they do really smart kits. I think Arsenal have had a few really nice ones over the last few years. And I would also like to see Hummel, but you obviously threw up in the chat, Tom, that the issue that they had with getting replica shirts on sale and not until winter. So I hope that wouldn't happen again. But again, I really do like their kits. I got a guy that plays football with me who's a Southampton fan, and he was wearing a Southampton shirt to training last week, and it had such a lovely intricate design that you wouldn't see unless you were like right up close to the shirt. And I love that about football kits whenever suppliers do that. So I would love something like that. Maybe like if someone would incorporate the arches of the Amex on our kit or something really nice and artistic. And I don't think Nike have that capability.
No, agreed. And I'm talking about the intricacies. I think it's on the centenary shirt. They've got like little seagulls embroidered in the blue. Is that right, Joe? Is there like little seagulls embroidered in it? I really love that. No, I don't have anything against Hummel at all. It's just, I say, as a few seasons ago, I think there was some kit issues, and I know that some of the lower league clubs suffered quite heavily with that. And I know that a team that I do follow, Forest Green Rovers, I know that they were having such bad issues with the kit that on the advertising hoardings around the ground, they turned the Hummel logos upside down, and then they swapped kit supplier halfway through the season, which isn't really heard of, and they use some local or like in British base called Player Layer. They do nice shirts, to be fair. How about you, Aaron? What kit manufacturer would you like to see, or would you like to stay with Nike?
Either Nike or Adidas for me. Hummel, I currently wear a Hummel kit before I show, and I don't particularly like it. I think it's a bit boring, a bit simple. Not a fan. But yeah, like Joe said, Arsenal's kits the last couple of years have been unreal. They've been absolutely stunning, and I think Adidas would be a quite good supplier. Obviously, won't have any issues with actually getting the kits because Adidas are worldwide company and Hummel aren't as big. But Nike have done all right. I got nothing against Nike. It doesn't particularly phase me really what sort of kit supplies we got, as long as the kit's nice. Really, I know I would love to go red and black again, but that's just me being just sentimental because the now shirt, which is the retro shirt, is the red and black away kit. It's my favorite ever Brighton kit, and the fact that's now called a retro shirt is very concerning. But yeah, for me that's the probably Adidas or stay with Nike, and red and black. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. I did wonder that perhaps they released the red and black skint kit as a way of sort of going, "Ooh, this is what's going to be coming." But then I thought, well, hang on, they won't, because then they'll have two red and black shirts. But anyway, Dan, how about you, mate? Away kits. Are you fussed about supplier? Is there any colours that you'd like to see on our away kit next season?
See, this is the part that I do really love, because I always look at shirts all the time as I collect. Obviously, I do try and collect as many full shirts as I can. For me, I do agree with Joe. Probably about the same. Adidas or Hummel. I do. There is some Hummel shirts I've seen out there that are really, really nice. I did buy one. I can't remember what the team was off the top of my head, but it was like a starry, like shirt design. I was like, I saw it. I was just like, I need that. I need that shirt in my life. As well, Adidas. There are some nice ones I've got in there as well. Because they do. I think the only template they've ever done, I've noticed, is training shirts. All their training shirts are sort of this can build the same, like just to be colours. Like Juve will have. I mean, they had like the cow one, whereas like Juve had black and white, obviously. Real Madrid have different colours. I think that's the only sort of template they do. As I say to say with Aaron as well, it has to be nice. Just anything, any can aspire. Anything. I only ones I don't really like is sort of like error in that because you have to buy like for me since I'm a big person, I have to get like 5-6 XL to one that actually sort of fits. It's like it doesn't make me feel great to have to think that I'm wearing a 6XL shirt, even though I'm not that big. But yeah, it just has to be nice. Just please do nice ones.
Yeah, as long as it's aesthetically pleasing, I suppose we can't really complain. And just with the sizing issue, yeah, I think sizing is obviously important. I've got a Lewis shirt which I wore on non-league day. That's a Kappa, and I have to wear an XL in that. And this is a medium, so you can see the disparity between sizes depending on manufacturer. For my own sake, Adidas would be nice. I'd love to think that if we did go with Adidas, maybe we could sell some of the retro 80s shirts, the British Caledonian, which I know we already do from like the score draw stuff, but it'd be nice to have like the old Adidas like 3-pronged, and then of course like the classic away shirts as well, the Phoenix Brewery. Having some of those replicas out would be absolutely hot. Shit hot. Sorry, Joe, got an expletive, but it's just, those 80 shirts are just beautiful. Joe, I remember I never came to you about colour. What colour would you like to see?
I would like to see blue and white, Tom. Yeah, that'd be nice.
For an away shirt?
No, you silly goose. I'm not really fussed about color, to be honest. I would like to see a really out there like pink one that's behind you. That would be a lovely remake. I would like to see red and black as well, Aaron. I do love me a red and black. I would also love to see like dark royal blue and black, like Inter Milan style, like we had a good few years ago. That is an absolutely gorgeous shirt. And I think Aaron is about to surprise us with a lovely modeling of that shirt. So let's have a look. For the audio listeners,
this shirt is a thing of beauty. So I think this was only ever worn once at a pre-season friendly, I think.
Right.
And it is a thing of beauty. Come on, Aaron.
One of
there
the
we
best.
go.
Oh,
look at that.
I've never seen that before, and I love that. That's amazing.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, that's definitely up here in the top 5 away shirts. I don't think it will happen though, Joe, because if you think about it, if we stay with Nike, we're going to have a new home strip, blue and white. Yeah. This will become the 3rd kit if we keep doing what we've been doing over the last few seasons. So for me, I've got a feeling that the next away shirt is either going to be red, as this thing of beauty behind me here, or green. So that's why I've strategically done this.
I think that we will be with Nike next season because on the club's website it says that 3rd shirt that you're wearing now, that away shirt that you're wearing now will become next season's 3rd shirt. I don't know if they've said that because there's no deal in place for another supplier. And I think the Nike contract is up at the end of this season. I'm not 100% sure. But if we're going off of what the club have told us, then we will be with Nike next season.
Yeah, I think it's pretty a safe bet. My hopes, as I say, the 2 shirts behind me there, what I'd like to see, a green and black strip instead of all green. We had an all green one a few seasons ago. Wasn't a huge fan. Did buy it, but wasn't a huge fan. And of course, the Chewit wrapper kit, which I know divides opinion.
I thought the quality of that green kit was atrocious. I bought at the time I was smaller than I am now, and I bought a large. And every other shirt I had in large as well fit me like a dream. That green one, oh my gosh, it felt like I was wearing a child's large. I might go back on my order history and make sure I didn't order a child's large, because that is the stupid thing that I would do. But yeah, it was not great quality. But I liked looking at it, and I've still got it. But it wasn't nice to wear at all.
Yeah, I think it's a thing of beauty. Absolutely love that shirt. One thing I will say is that if we stay with Nike, I hope we don't get any more of these performance fit shirts, because I know they had a lot of issue with that before. Because no one, it's like Dan says, no one wants to be buying a shirt that is 2 sizes bigger than their actual size, because it just feels so degrading and humiliating sometimes when you have to do that. So that's all I will say.
I'm used to that anyway, mate. You're all good.
But that's what you get with Nike. You get with the big clubs anyway, like Liverpool, you get the replica, and then you get the dry fit performance, like £110 for that shirt if you want to buy it. And that is like, you need to have a 6-pack and lift every single day to even have a chance of looking good wearing it. This season,
I appreciate that.
no. But this season, it's the same for me as well, Aaron, because I'm not skinny, so it's the same for me. Like this season, I bought the large home shirt, put it on, and it fit like bloody cycling lycra, and I had to send it back. And I got an extra large, and I've never bought an extra large shirt in my life. But now what I do is I just always buy a size up. Like this one's double XL. And it's Araya. Like Dan said, their sizing is really weird, especially for the older shirts. They just seem tiny. But I just had to buy big shirts, and it doesn't make me feel very nice.
I know we're elongating the point here, but I suppose it depends on what kind of feel you like, and especially the ones like the classic ones. They were meant to be baggy anyway. I quite like a close fitting shirt. I don't like to wear baggy shirts. It's not like what I prefer, but I suppose it's just what everyone likes, basically. So we've spent a little bit of time talking about things that aren't game related. Let's get back into games then. So, Aaron, you've already spoken about how our home form this season has been a bit iffy. So how do you see the game on Sunday against Southampton going? Because they've been a bit hit and miss themselves. One moment they seem to be doing really well, and Ralph Hasenhüttl is like the best thing since sliced bread. The next moment, they're falling off a cliff in terms of their form. So how do you see the game going?
They're a strange team. They're a really strange team. I think the win against Arsenal last week was very lucky, because Fraser Forster was putting out worldy save after worldy save for near enough 90 minutes. That could have quite easily been another 6 or 7-1 if Fraser Forster wasn't actually on form. I don't know why they seem to be a really tricky team to play against. I don't know what it is. I just feel like they got the Chelsea loney up top. Very good player. I would love to have him, to be fair. I think he looks the mustard, I have to admit. And then you got sort of players in the middle like Romeo, and you've got Bednarek at the back. They're all just big lumps, and it's difficult. Seems we should find it difficult to sort of deal with that. Like Burnley was a prime example. Like Weghorst looked like prime Ronaldo at some points, and Dwight McNeil was looking like Neymar. It was ridiculous, and it's just strange. I don't know why we can't set up well against teams like teams like Southampton. Oh dear. Oh no, I'm not that guy. But I think it'll be a difficult game. It'll be cagey, I could imagine, because it's just we're playing at home. So all that freedom we had at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the Emirates, and even the Etihad to some certain degree will be gone. I hope it's not, but the pressure is going to be right back on. The players know our home form is not great. I say not great; it's crap. We don't score enough goals at home, obviously. So the pressure is going to be on then. And Southampton, they got nothing to play for. To be fair, neither have we. It's going to be a bit of a dead rubber, but who's going to be who wants it more? who's going to want the 3 points to add to their total they've got? We've got 9 wins this year, and can we make it 10 for the first time? Because we've been stuck on 9 ever since we come up, I think. Statman, is that right, Tom?
That is correct. We've had 9 wins in every season since coming up to the Premier League.
Thank you, Mr. Statman. And it'd be great to get 10. It'd be great to get a home win. It'd be great to see goals, preferably Brighton goals. I've seen enough away goals to last me a lifetime, for Christ's sake. Yeah, I'm quietly confident, which is the more concerning thing, because I shouldn't be, because I know it's the hope that always gets you. And I said that against Burnley. I was quite confident. I said that on the bus on the way on the parking ride, and yeah, look at that shit show. So,
I think it all comes down to whether Joe's watching the game. If Joe watches the game, we're screwed. If Joe,
I mean, that is true, because that's why our home form's so bad.
Well, I'm just gonna have to cancel my season ticket, then, I bloody hell.
I would recommend it.
I didn't think it would come to this. I really
or
didn't.
even move back. I moved back to the southwest.
Yeah, maybe.
Move back in your corner.
Nobody puts Joe in the corner.
But yeah, no, rolling on. I'm looking forward to it. To be fair, I'm looking forward to it. It'd be nice to get back to see some live football. It feels like I haven't been to the Amex for ages. I have to admit, it does feel like a long time. Not many home games left now. I think it's 3. Is it 3 or 2? 3.
Right.
Yeah, West Ham United, Southampton, isn't it? Yeah. So it'd be nice to go out with a bang. Recent performances have been fantastic. So hopefully we can do well and get the 3 points we would love to see. I would say desperately need, but we don't desperately need them. It would be lovely to get a win. It's a very strange season now, because the rest of the season, because we're not really going to be doing a great deal. We can't go into Europe and we can't go down. So it's, for the first time probably in the Premier League, realistically, we're not really worried about what's going on around us or anything. Obviously, the main objective is staying above that lot, which obviously would be great. If we can, that'd be brilliant. But they're so fucking jammy. They're probably going to go above us. They'll probably get like 15 points the last 5 games. Only ridiculous. But yeah, we'll roll on Sunday. That's what I'll say on that. Just roll on Sunday, and yeah, it should be good.
Decent, mate. Decent. Just what I will say, I think you're right, Aaron. I think we're not going down. We're not getting Europe. But I think it's for every place higher in the Premier League that you finish, you get something silly like an extra £2 million. And I'm sure Tony Bloom has, and Paul Barber have made it very clear to Potter that they want that money, and they want to finish as high as they can. I think 9th is still realistic. That obviously depends on Leicester. But it would be nice to finish inside the top 10 if we can. So, boys, scores on the doors, please. Joe, come to you first, mate. What's the score going to be against Southampton?
Well, considering I'm going to the game, it's going to be 4-0 to Southampton. I'm feeling good. Obviously, we've had some really confidence-boosting performances. The 2 games against the North London clubs and the first half yesterday, we should be really, really proud of. And the players should be coming back to the Amex with a spring in their step. And it is that last, not, I wouldn't say it's our last chance to get 3 points at home, but it's our best chance to get 3 points at home for sure. And it would be nice to, as I think it was Dan or Aaron said, to actually score some goals at the Amex and maybe even see one in front of the North Stand, because I think I've seen 2 goals in front of the North Stand since moving there, which was Adam Webster and the own goal from Anderson for Palace. So yeah, let's go with 2-0 Brighton.
I like it, and I will take it. Aaron, how about you, mate? Scores on the doors, please.
Well, Southampton like to do a yearly or season thing where they lose 9-0. And they haven't done that this year yet. Is the line? Is it Illuminati time that we're going to win 9-0 against Southampton? No, of course we're not. We scored 10 goals all year, for fuck's sake.
You had me going there, Aaron. You had me going.
No, it'll be 2-1. 2-1. I reckon it'll be quite a close game, but hopefully we'll be able to come out with 3 points and 2 goals in front of the North Stand. Caicedo with his first goal for the club, and let's go Cucurella. Why not? Just throwing one out of completely left field. Just why not?
His hair is massive. It's true. Dan, what do you think? Score prediction against Southampton, please, mate.
I think probably the same. 2-1. It's going to be one of those performances where we should hopefully win the game. But obviously they do have some decent players on the pitch for Southampton. Well, hopefully they should do. Well, I hope not, because we need to win. Well, not we need, but they're nice to. Because we need to get that points tally now. I think that's the only mission we've got now. Is get that points tally. And by the looks of it as well, the position. So, just 2-1. Scorers. Depending on who he puts out. Nice to see Caicedo get his first goal. He probably deserves it. Second, I'll say Cucurella as well. Why not?
The hair is massive. I'm gonna go with...
same goal scorers. I love the originality, Dan. I love it.
Just to confirm, his hair is also massive. Cucurella's hair is massive. Can confirm.
I'd like to echo that as well. It is.
I also have to say his hair is massive. Yeah, cool.
He also drinks Estrella
and eats paella.
I have to say, he's probably is Glenn Murray as a pig in a way.
Massive.
I have a Spanish friend. His name is not Cucurella.
I was literally about to say his name, Mark Cucurella.
And he does drink Estrella and he does eat paella. So although I don't like
his hair massive. Is his hair massive?
No, it's not.
That's disappointing.
He's got a
Tom's is though.
My hair is not as massive as it used to be. But anyway, I don't like to perpetuate cultural stereotypes, but it's true he does eat Estrella. He does drink Estrella and eat paella. Anyway, I'm going to go with, that was a big clap. I'm going to go with 2-0, Trossard and McAllister. That's what I'm going to go with.
Tom, you know Trossard doesn't turn up against teams out of the top 6, right?
He doesn't turn up for 90 minutes.
Against Brentford.
Brentford are a good team. Brentford are a great team. They're top 6 material, Joe. So, you know.
All I need Trossard for is 30 seconds. And to be fair, I mean, was it Southampton? I think he was
I'm joking.
Hold on, just before we sign off, Aaron, can I get you to sing the Mwepu song, please?
Absolutely not.
Damn it.
To hear Aaron sing the Mwepu song is beautiful. So if you drop us some
thank you so much
comments, maybe we can persuade Aaron on his next appearance.
Maybe send him money. He might do it after that.
I'm not an OnlyFans, Dan. Jesus.
100 quid. 100 quid, Aaron?
I mean, I'd do a lot for 100 quid, mate. That's for sure.
Maybe we should sign him up to OnlyFans, as Aaron suggested. I've lost my train of thought entirely. Drop us a comment. That's what I was going to say. Drop us some comments. Drop us some likes. Drop us some retweets. And if we get some comments saying, Aaron, sing the song, then maybe he'll do it. We can use peer pressure to our advantage. And on that note, peer pressure is not a wonderful thing. As a teacher, I can tell you it's not a wonderful thing. And on that bombshell, we've come to the end of the show. So a massive thank you to Joe, Aaron and Dan for joining me today on the show. Have a great evening, afternoon, morning, day, wherever you are, wherever you are. Make sure to drop a like, comment, and also subscribe if you haven't done already for some more content. We'll see you next time, guys. Take care.